whenever you stop drinking, you have so much more money. A lot. And I did reinvest it all back into the businesses and into myself. Personal training, staff, offices, travel, literally into online products. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. I am your host for today's show, Matthew Toman.
Oh, I'm allowed to speak now, freely?
Yeah, you can speak. It's your turn.
Hi, I am Sharon Kirkpatrick, joining Matthew today.
So thanks for watching, and thanks for all the feedback as well. So we got some feedback on the past two podcasts, so we've tried to sort of adjust how we're filming slightly, the content slightly, and did anybody come back to you with any feedback?
They all said, Sharon, you were the best.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that, actually.
I'm only joking.
So what are we going to be talking about on today's podcast?
Well, should we kickstart with how the week was?
Yeah, how was your week?
I'll go with the weekend.
Okay.
So I had my wee nephew all weekend.
Oh, yes, Addison.
We spent some time with you
I
too.
seen him, yeah. We had dinner in my house. Mm-hmm. It was lovely.
I mean, he is class. He's so much fun, and he's he's easy work.
Yeah.
But when you just have to get up because someone else needs you to get up?
I know. I can't cope with that. But Addison is amazing. Yeah, he definitely was really good fun, especially and he's no hassle at all.
He's not. It's just the fact that you can no longer create your own day. It has to be based on somebody else.
Yeah.
I'd say, do you want to watch a movie? No, of course he doesn't. He wants to go out and have the crack. What did you get up to?
I went down to Dublin for a spin. I had to go down and see a client on Friday night. I don't know, just gym, normal stuff, relaxed. Oh yeah, I went to that restaurant, what do you call it? Spaghetti Arms? So I haven't been back in Belfast in a long time, and I was looking some food the other night, and Rachel and Sharon suggested me to go to this restaurant, and it does like is it like is it a high-end version of like fast food, or is it not even? I don't know.
It's probably just fat. Basically, for anyone who lives in Belfast knows that Spaghetti Arms is where you go at like 2 a.m, to get the best food of your life because you've probably been, encouraged
Drinking?
by it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I end up going obviously sober. So I went and it was really nice actually. But all weekend I had so much fried food. I felt really bad on Monday. I was straight into the gym.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That was our fault. But you wanted a bit of dirt.
And I got it.
And you got it.
I got it. So I done that then on Saturday night. I seen you guys. Sunday I was just down with the folks. And then Sunday night we went out for dinner with your family. So it was a good
We've
weekend.
actually spent loads of time together.
I know it doesn't feel like it.
I know. There we go.
One thing that did happen over the weekend, a lot of people said to me, "Oh my God, Matthew, congratulations on the podcast." And I've said, "Yeah, I've had it for a year now at this point." But thank you for finally recognizing that. So I put Sharon on one podcast. Now everybody's saying congratulations on the new podcast. I'm like, yeah, it's been out for a year. But
That's
thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the compliment, guys. And thanks for letting me
you can
be
go
on.
back and listen to the other 50 odd if you want. But but I do appreciate people watching. But yeah, all weekend I've actually been on a real rampage of what I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting served so many reels and videos that are all hilariously funny. Like I don't know what has happened. I've fallen into like an algorithm that I'm nearly dying laughing. Do you know what I mean? Like with every single video that I'm watching, it's hilarious.
I love that about the rabbit hole.
I know it sometimes just with algorithms with Instagram. I changed my phone. I got a new phone, which I spend most of the weekend actually or a few days to try and set up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's maybe reset something. I don't know what's going on, but it's very, very funny.
Good.
Yeah.
Nothing a bit of like laughter won't, solve. So
yeah. And what's the topics then, do you think, for today's show?
Yeah, so obviously glad to get back to work now, and have a bit of like normality and no kids to look after. So I think what we should do today is cover Sober October. It's October after all.
Yes. And actually it's my anniversary for being sober in October.
7 years, right?
7 years on the 18th.
Unreal.
But I didn't actually, I didn't start October sober that month. I just started normally, just with a drink.
Wow.
It wasn't, I didn't, it's totally coincidental. It wasn't, I didn't quit in Sober October for
Maybe
that reason.
You're the reason it's been branded.
I think Sober October was out more before.
Well, just claim it anyway. So we're going to Sober October, breaking bad habits.
Yeah.
And then we're going to jump into online products and what they are and how we could potentially create them.
Okay, brilliant. So
So, jumping into Sober October bad habits.
yeah, but I mean, so you know, I have I have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. You have a very healthy relationship with alcohol.
Some would disagree, but
But I mean, you can stop, at the end of the night or the end of the weekend, where I couldn't really. But I end up giving up alcohol, obviously. But really now, I've had a real shift in the past like year as well about that. Not that I would go back on the drink, but it actually really claimed my whole identity. Like I had in my bio of my Instagram, like 4 years sober, like 5 years sober. I've took that off now, where I was thinking it doesn't being sober doesn't define me. I found that like whenever people actually got a few drinks in them and was quite honest, they were like, "Oh, I didn't think you were going to be as good fun because you were sober," and it was because I was actually owning it as an identity of like who I was,
yeah.
instead of just like I've still got my personality, humor. I still want to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
So I've sort of ditched that a bit.
I mean, it is hard because it is something to be proud of. A lot of people can't achieve that. Okay, some people don't want to. A lot of people would want to give it up or want to reduce their intake, So being able to kind of recognize that it was a bad habit for you. And, I'm sure that was difficult because I'm sure it was something you were doing every day or every other day or part of your week or like an escape. Yes, it's the weekend, let's go.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, at what point then did you notice it was becoming a negative, like a bad habit as opposed to just a casual?
I probably realized whenever I was about 27 that this isn't really healthy. I've been drinking for a long time. I had my first drink when I was 13. And then, but I kind of knew that I couldn't stop. I kind of accepted the fact that I couldn't stop. And then around my 30th, it was really, I was not working at the time and I was drinking a lot. I didn't have to be anywhere because all for years I used to have to drive a van being a refrigeration engineer. So I couldn't really drink on Sunday. Driving was like limiting me to like stop.
Yeah.
But then whenever I got into my 30s and I was like, I know I need to stop this. For actually years, I knew I needed to stop and I couldn't, And then one day I just ended up saying I had to them just with various health reasons.
Yeah. So it was maybe the health thing that was the
I was
push
forced
for you?
into it. And then once I realized that then there was something more important for me, which was like being healthy and being alive. And I was like, okay, this is a way more serious than I ever give it credit for. And, I need to make a call on this immediately. And the doctor was like, okay, we need to do something. You need to do something.
It sounds like an interview now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, only because,
well, no, me on my part, but
okay.
What was the hardest part when you stopped or given up?
The hardest part for me whenever I was giving up was the fact that your whole friend circle changes, your whole social life changes. Like I lived in Dublin, I lived in Portobello and my office was in Temple Bar. So Camden Street's a long walk. Anybody who knows Dublin, it's the drinking capital probably of the world. There's more bars in it than anything.
Yeah.
And your whole life is based around drink. All my business was based around alcohol. I done all my sales in the bar. It was like my business actually dropped considerably. And for the first time I had to get a loan to keep my business open whenever I stopped drinking because I actually had stopped doing the deals because I was out.
Yeah.
So there was a moment whenever you're just in the house and you're like, okay, I'm not going to the bar anymore. I can't hang around with those people, not my friends, which I've still reconnected with since. And there was just like a period that I had to sit it out and be quite lonely, I would say. But I had to sit it out. So it was a major, major thing. And that was probably months.
Do you know what? It's so interesting you say that because when we think about alcohol in terms of business, there's kind of pros and cons of it. Like you just mentioned there, especially in the UK and Ireland, a lot of sales or networking is done over a glass of wine or a pint or an event that includes drink, and then whenever you kind of remove yourself from that, then you are potentially missing. I remember doing events all of the time and we were doing an event all for a whole weekend in one of the hotels in Dublin. And I was like, right, I'm wrecked. It's 1 a.m. I'm going to head to bed. We're up again the next day. And the owner of the company was like, Sharon, the networking starts after 1.
Yeah.
You got to stay up and we got to see this through. And I was like, what?
I know.
And that's coming from me who loves to drink.
I know. Well, the first time I went to Vegas for this specific event, we used to go for like a week at a time. And the first year I went, I was drinking, and a lot of my relationships were formed, after 12 o'clock all through the night. But I didn't. Looking back, I haven't made any money off those relationships. Right. One of my friends contacted me and he said, Matthew, I'm not drinking anymore and I'm going to Cannes Film Festival. And I know that all the business talk starts at 1, 2 in the morning and I can't stay up. What should I do? I'm really struggling to not go back on the drink. And I said, honestly, most of those business deals and conversations that you're talking about are bullshit. They're nothing's going to come of them.
Yeah.
And I said, like, for now where I'm at, I know who I want to work with. Like, I've aligned with the people that I want to work with. And they're not up at 1 in the morning talking crap about some project that they're never going to do.
Yeah.
Right now, some of them might land and some of them might happen. But I would say nine projects out of 10 are not even going to get discussed ever again. And it's all just a matter of, let's just stay out drinking on a free bar maybe. Or drinking and just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that a stat there, 9 times out of 10?
No.
No.
Not for me. It's like, that's my stat that I'm making up. I would say 10 out of 10 for most of them aren't going to come out. If I look back at all the relationships I built up to the relationships I've built up sober, the ones sober with the solid foundations have made me way more money, built way better business relationships, aligned with people that we actually enjoy working together and we want to build and grow that relationship. A lot of the ones, you sometimes are making agreements of what the deliverables are drunk.
Yeah.
And that's
And then
not,
you get the next day, you're
that's
like,
not a good
oh
thing.
shit, I
Yeah.
actually can't deliver on that. I should charge more.
Yeah, big time.
Well, it's interesting because obviously today when we finish up, we're going to an event for one of our clients.
Yeah, we are indeed.
It's an opening event of their new kind of terrace bar.
Yeah. Little Pig Terrace. And it is going to be open in Dublin and it's going to be a lot of drink tonight and you're going to be drinking.
And I was like, well, Matthew, obviously you're driving, right? And so I can have a drink.
I actually encourage it. I'm not like, see, the thing is where it's, I like being around people that have a healthy a relationship with alcohol. I think it actually brings like a side out in me that I like to be brought out. A bit of fun, dancing. I was in Ibiza for how long? How long was I in Ibiza for? 5 days?
Yeah. 6. And you were out. I don't know how you did. I couldn't do that.
I was out for dinner from 6:15 to 6:30 and I left at like 3:30, 4:30 and they all stayed on. I was driving. I obviously had the cars that get me out of here. But that was like 8-10 hours. And I had a ball. I had a brilliant time. Was on the dance floor the whole time.
No, I know. You're so, like, you're no different. Well, obviously you're different in terms of you're not doing the mad shit that you used to do.
Yeah.
But you're no different in terms of you can still have the crack, still be engaged, still hang around. And, you don't really like slip out. 3:30 is fair enough.
I know I do. I kind of slip out. And then it's like, I was up the next morning and went to the gym.
I know. Well, you see, I'm always, obviously, I do love a drink, love a wine, love a beer, gin, anything really. So I'm always trying to find ways in which alcohol is good,
Yeah.
So I was using networking as a good one, but you kind of, ruined that one.
Well, not really. Networking, it does give people, there's a lot of people that use alcohol as a bit of like Dutch courage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, confidence boost.
Kinda. And, whether you agree with that or not.
Well, here I had to do some more research to try and, quantify
Okay.
the reasons. And basically, I want to share this with you.
Anything I ever sort of suggest or anything I ever talk about actually is usually from just a past experience. Whereas like you're much better with.
Well, I just really want to make it okay in my head.
No, I get that. That's why it works with us working together.
So basically, there was this company, right? Who is it? They wanted to do a study on kind of creativity under the influence of alcohol with entrepreneurs and business people. So it was done by the University of Illinois, right? And this psychologist, and they got like 40 participants, small group, but still split them into 2 groups. Mm-hmm. One group were allowed 0 alcohol. The other group were allowed some vodka. It was the equivalent of like 2 pints of beer.
Okay.
Right. And then they had to do this test of insightful thinking.
Okay.
So what happened was the intoxicated, we'll call them that, participants solved 58% of the 15 items, whatever they were in the test, versus kind of the sober ones, they came in at 42%.
42, okay.
So basically, and the kind of drinkers work faster by like another 4 seconds on average.
Okay. I would love to do like another study where it's like
Right.
half drinking, half sober.
Half drinking.
Like where they were like 50% of them was sober and 50% of them was drinking.
That's what happened.
No, mixed.
What do you mean?
So like a group would be all with the ones drinking, all the ones sober, and then they had to work collectively, or were they all individual?
Oh no. So there was the sober group working, and then there was the together as a team, and then there was they're calling it intoxicated after
So
2 pints.
I would say, what about an intoxicated group and a sober group?
Together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best scenario, and that's
I
what
think
me and
that-
you are.
I think that's the combination. I definitely do, because look, I have experimented with alcohol, with ecstasy in my past. I have looked at different, I know that like my business partner has taken like mushrooms, there's loads of different people try different things. And I'm really glad that I did, because I do think it does open a different part of your brain. I think that I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and do anything, but at the same time, I'm glad that I did. I would never take it away.
Yeah.
And the place that we're going tonight who've been a long-standing client, my second client ever, that relationship was formed with alcohol. Like some of my long-lasting, loving relationships are formed through alcohol. So like I wouldn't take it away.
So your stat must be 9 out of 10 then, because there's one that worked.
No, I'm talking about a networking event. Like
okay.
I was specifically talking about like at a film festival, just in that instance. Sorry.
Okay.
So networking events, I don't know what the stats are. I'm sure you've got some there, have you?
I'll have them next time.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, basically, Sober October mindset is all around bad habits. So with alcohol, sometimes it is a bad habit for people. Other
Yeah.
times it's not necessarily. But I guess the big thing is kind of to check in with, your habits on the daily or on the weekly or monthly, and just see, is that a good habit? Is it
Yeah.
a bad habit? And if it's really impacting your life negatively,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I done that video like 7 lessons from being sober like 3 years ago. Actually, this month it must be, because I released it on my 4th anniversary, and I have had hundreds and hundreds of messages, no joke, text messages, WhatsApps, video calls, like hundreds of comments under the video itself on YouTube, and like loads and loads of people reached out to me, and people do question their relationship with alcohol and substances every single week.
Oh, me too.
Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. Do you know, there's no judgment with that. But at the same time, if it is affecting your life, watch that video. There is a formula that I put in that video, that there is 5 things that you can check and see if it is going to benefit you. What I say is just like maybe sometimes give up for a month, give up for October.
Yeah, do the
Or
small
January,
steps.
maybe.
Like if people are kind of wondering, is it a good habit or a bad habit? What can they do? Like maybe like ask, their nearest and dearest.
Listen to your gut feeling, like yourself.
I don't know. Like I always say, have less wine, Sharon. But here I am.
It doesn't have a negative effect. Doesn't affect your finances, your job, your fitness. There's so many aspects. Your relationships, like no relationships in your life are affected by alcohol.
Yeah.
Like nearly everyone was affected by alcohol with me. My
Yeah.
working relationships, there's nobody I work with now that knows me whenever I was drinking.
Yeah.
Because whenever I was back then, I was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I was unpredictable. I was emotional. There was so many different things. I was either hungover or drunk or wanted to go for a drink. There was so much, yourself. Whenever your moods are all over the place, whenever you're not happy, you got to look and say, well, what is it? Maybe is it something to do that I'm putting inside my body that's not agreeing with me,
So start with a small. Don't they say to break a habit? If it is a bad habit for you, that you should start with like 3 days, and then 3 weeks.
Okay.
To break a habit. So if you break it for the 3 days, think of the 3 days,
Okay.
then go for the 3 weeks, and then after the 3 weeks, apparently, you're now obviously it takes a lot of. I'm sure you're still
Yeah.
dealing with it every day, but kind of start small.
Not so much now, but like for a while I was. And every now and again it pops up. It's so weird. We went to a family wedding, and I actually got really freaked out about not being hungover. I felt like I was missing out because everybody was in the hotel having breakfast, hungover, talking about the night before, and I felt like I was missing out. I haven't had a hangover in 7 years, and I'm never going to have one again.
I would have gladly give you mine if I could have.
That's the thing. Like my family were like, "What are you talking about? You didn't miss the drink yesterday, but you want to be hungover right now?" And I'm said there actually is a whole like social event around being hungover in a hotel, getting your breakfast in the morning.
Oh, I know. Get the catch ups.
Yeah, it's
Well,
funny.
I just want to end this segment by saying congratulations
Thank
on
you
your
very much.
7 years,
Yeah,
and long may it continue as long as you want it to.
yeah,
Could
that's
be
it.
forever.
Well, I don't think I'll drink again, but I can have a drink today if I want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not
You're in
something.
control.
I'm making a choice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very
And
much.
for anyone out there doing Sober October, stay strong. You've got this.
Yeah, very good. Um, brilliant. So, what is our next?
So, on to kind of the business side of things. What I was thinking today is obviously going from breaking bad habits, let's get some good habits around us
Yeah,
and invest our time where we can on creating some online products to get us some money. Now, I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about anyone out there who's listening.
yeah. One thing, just like I know we're past that segment, but whenever you stop drinking, you have so much more money,
Yeah.
a lot. And I did reinvest it all back into the businesses and into myself, like literally personal training, staff, offices, travel, you know, literally into online products. Like I've spent years, you know, spending money from like my own money, you know, into reinvesting back in even all this setup for this. Do you know what I mean?
Can imagine. Now I'm having to pay £13 for a bottle of wine. It's doing my head in. Used
My
to be
God.
8.
Well, imagine if you put that into like ad spend on a product.
I know, well, that's your job.
I know, but I'm talking about you as an individual.
No, I know.
Side hustle.
Yeah.
Like you've got like, okay, you've got this other little ebook over here that's running. Like Rachel, for example, could have had a vegan ebook, you know what I mean? Or vegan, vegetarian, or my mom could have like a sewing, how to sew, you know, because she knows how to sew and set up a sewing machine, whatever it is. And then you just take the money that you would spend on that and put it into ad spend, and then you get a return.
Yeah.
But like that all sounds a bit too like businessy and not really fun. Do you know what I mean? Like you're taking all the fun out of life and you're like reinvest every single thing that you have into like a business. It's not really about that.
No. Well, the whole thing for this is that obviously, and we're talking to people who, you know, we want to try and help people who are thinking about creating an online business for the first time, or someone who already has, you know, a business that maybe they're a service-based business that they're not making money online. You know, that's kind of
Yeah.
what we want to try and do is say to both those types of people that, you know, there is an opportunity for you to create an online product
Yeah.
and start making money off that, be it your first idea or be it a service-based business that could turn something into a
Yeah.
digital download or whatever.
Yeah, well, I was filming a video sales letter. So for one of our funnels, there was a video that had to be in. And it's our course that we have going out Life's a Beach. But I know that most of the people, it's for people starting a business, right? But a lot of the people that has came through recently have already have their own business, right? So they've already had their business. And I was thinking, why is it not? Once you jump into it and you start to go through it and you start to work through all the things that they were doing, there was a tiny parts of it where they didn't have the formula down,
Yeah.
but they were already nearly there. So I ended up having a call just with Daniel and was going through it, and I was saying, look, I want to do a video sales letter on this because coming off the back of our AI 1,000 prompt book, who else can this? How can someone just tweak an already functioning business to have more profit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I was working on then this week.
Well, let's start with, for anyone who's maybe not familiar with online products. So what types of online products could an entrepreneur or a business owner create?
Ebooks,
Yeah.
online members areas.
Yeah.
And whenever I say ebooks, say for example, I'm talking about any kind of industry, any kind of one where someone needs informed on something, or from bringing them from A to B, whether it's fitness, whether it is learning how to speak Spanish, whatever it may be, doesn't matter whatever. If someone wants to go from there and upskill themselves, then that can be delivered in like an ebook. I always suggest like adding video on.
To the ebook?
Having
Or-
videos even with the ebook, like
Yeah.
the ebook that we just created, the 1,000 prompts AI, like I just set up everything myself. and filmed it, and it wasn't that I was teaching anything that's dramatic. I was just saying, this is how you use this. This is how I use it, and I just showed them how I use it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like you have to sit down and you have to go, okay, lesson 1, and we're going to do this. You're like, okay, I've created an ebook on, cooking or sewing, as I said, or anything like that. What other examples is there? And just talking about here's what you're going to expect.
Yeah.
And if you are going through this part on chapter 1, I was there and this is what had happened.
Yeah.
Do so it's not, it could be done on your phone. People don't care how it's delivered as long as it's just explaining to them and bringing them through it.
Yeah. Well, the ebook is one where then obviously it's most likely going to be some images, lots of text, and then you can add your video links in so people can just click off because it's digital. So they'll just download that once it's purchased online, and then they can watch those videos that relate to the training that you've given in Z ebook.
Yeah. And then the second, other things you could do is like online courses. People think like it's a lot of money to build an online course, which it can be. But if you end up getting like 4 of your friends or 5 of your friends and bringing them through the training that you've created around what subject matter, would suggest one.
Do you want me to give you a random one?
Yeah, give me a random one.
Do you want me to make it difficult?
Don't care. Whatever. It's
Okay.
all the same. It's the same formula for everyone.
Football?
So if you were doing football, right, and you were teaching like 5-a-side, or if you were teaching different, I don't know, what would you be, drills? If you had different drills, like you literally just set up your camera, do the drill, set out your cones, do the drill that you're going to do, and then just walk people through it. Okay, at this part, here's what we want to do here. Here's what the situation would be where this would be most effective, and here's what it would be at the very end.
Yeah.
Here's our outcome that we want, and here's why this is important. If you have 5 different drills for training, for coaching, for whatever it may be, they just literally sit down and like they can record themselves doing the drill over and over, do another one, do like 5 different drills, take the video, put a voiceover over it, and then just sell that.
Yeah.
That's training. If you sell like, I'm going to teach you 5 new drills that you've never seen before, and it's $97, £97.
I'm going to teach you how to excel in the David Beckham free kick.
Yes, David Beckham could make a lot of money doing a video course about that.
Or someone who's figured it out could also.
Yeah, someone who's figured it out, whatever it may be. So if you're able to teach somebody, or if you're able to say, if you've got that product in Ireland, for example, and you know that it's working really well for you, and somebody wants to learn that, soccer's becoming massive in America now, and they're bringing trainers from all over the world. My friend actually works out there training kids, and they're looking at his expertise because he's grew up around football his whole life. He's played professionally, so he's going out there with his skill. He's going out there with his skills and bringing them out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this is the thing. So it's just trying to get people now who are listening to this to think about what online product they could create. And we touched on it before previously. It's more about, it's an educational piece really. So whatever it is that you've got, you can educate someone on, figure out, is that going to sit well in an ebook where they read the information and then can watch a video or not? Or is it going to sit well in a course and a course is probably structured in a way where you'll be on camera and you'll deliver each of the training modules for that particular course, and then you'll maybe have some Q&A questions at the end of that course to hold them accountable to completing it.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, like you've already given an example there, anyone can do this. And if you've got a business at the minute, so let's take a business. So you have a high street clothes shop.
Yeah.
What could they do in terms of creating an online product?
Are you talking about listing their products online?
No, I'm talking about an educational piece to start making money.
Well, if they have a shop, right, so what they do, they dress their window every week, right? So they're dressing the window to bring people in off the street. So you can do like maybe for staging windows, that could be something that you could do. For retailers, here's 7 tips on staging a window. Maybe they could talk about the importance of changing their floor plan every week or every 10 days, so that whenever people walk back in, that they're not going straight to that piece, they're going to that rack of clothes, and something else hanging there, and the thing that they were looking for is down the back. It just keeps them moving to see more stuff. They could also do training around employing staff, keeping staff, about having a break even or within their business if they're the business person that owns it. The importance of having a good location on high street retail if you're going to go for, bricks and mortar building. They can teach so many things within that, because some people out there might think, oh, I've got a lovely bit of clothing, a clothing brand that I'd love to sell. I don't know how to do that. You could give an A to Z of starting your own bricks and mortar business.
Yeah.
And building a brand around that, because you've done that. If you've got a successful on high street store, then you can take the expertise of you bringing that from A to Z and then teach somebody else how to do it.
Yeah.
Because so many people, I've got a really, really good course that I haven't released yet and I haven't even finished it, and I'm going to. I've been spending a lot of time on it, but it's building your own digital media agency.
Yeah.
There's loads of them out there. Mine it'd be similar in some ways, but they'd be definitely different in other ways, because the things that I've come up against are different than what other people's come up against. Do you know what I mean?
And we've said it before, just because somebody else out there is doing something similar doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. Like you said last time, that it's proof then that there's the need out there, the want or desire out there for it.
My my build your own agency course is probably going to be the highest ticket that I ever sell. Because you can make your money back really, really fast.
Yeah.
Like, that's a guarantee that I put in there, that I will be putting in there, that you can make your money back really fast, or else it's like money back. Because there is a formula to doing that as well, as I keep banging on about. But yeah, so that's what I would say. You can do an online business in absolutely anything at all, no matter what you're working at in any area. 100% you can have an ebook or an online training.
And you're probably going to hear us talk about this over and over again, because this is the whole point of why we're doing this. It's really to kind of make business owners and entrepreneurs aware that there's more money out there to be had without the high costs and the capital costs that come with running, your high street branch, employing the staff to do that. If there's a way that you can, and there is a way, create an online digital product, you can then start to see the return on your investments with like really minimal input. The return is going to be so much higher, and there's going to be so much more profit in an online product than it would be on in-store products, on any of those other things that you've got going on.
Yeah, you've got to be really realistic with your break even and the margins, because people will say, oh, I bought that piece of clothes and I marked it up by 3.7, 2.7, whatever the markup is within that thing. And sometimes they'll mark it up by way more if they can. But then you got to look, that's not profit. You've got like your rent, your rates, your electricity, your staff, your marketing. There's so much to come out of that little bit. So you have to do major volume for that business to be like making a lot of money. Where if you have it online and you mark it up by a certain amount, even if you marked it up where it's cheaper, and you didn't have 3 to 4 staff members, their tax, their pensions, their holidays, their maternity leave, their sick days. Yeah. If you didn't have all that, and you were able to take all of the money that you pay for salary and wages and put it into ad spend, where you're getting way more people come through the door of your online business, then you're going to get a much bigger return. And then all of your email marketing is free once you get into email marketing. And then it's just about building a brand that way. So it's not about, people say, I don't want to spend money on my online business because it's not bringing in any money. I'm like, yeah, but you're spending hundreds of thousands a year on the other side of the business, a bricks and mortar one, and you're getting a smaller return than what you would be, but you're not putting any money whatsoever into your online stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the online stuff has so much more potential of making a lot more money. If you even took if you got rid of like one person off the shop floor and put their one salary into your online business, you would get a bigger return than what you would get if that person was standing in your shop selling.
Yeah, 100%.
But people think that if you're putting, sorry to cut you off there, but people think if you're putting, I'm scared to invest that 22,000, that 28,000, whatever it is, into the online. I don't want to do that. And well, that's on you then. That's why your online isn't working.
I know. And a lot of people, it's the fear of the unknown. They haven't tried it before. They just feel a bit overwhelmed. And the thing is, to create your first online product, it's not going to cost that much. If you want to get it recorded professionally, you're paying for that. But other than that,
you can record on Zoom.
I know that's the thing. That's it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's worth everyone, giving that a go. Everyone out there who wants to be a business owner or who owns a business, to give the online products a go. Because as well as that, once it's built and once it's created, that's a lifetime of sales. There's no more,
I have 6 masterclasses actually that we sell on Mindset and Marketing for, I think, $39 potentially. I don't know how much they are, something around that. I record those on voice notes on my phone
Yeah.
with my iPad, with all my notes in front of me, record them, and then just put them to like a slide deck.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's why you can get away with selling those for like less, or give them away free if we want, you know,
I
as a
know.
lead magnet, because I done that on my phone.
I think as well, a lot of people are just focused on, you know, their current status in their business or on their, you know, entrepreneurial, I can't say that, on their journey to become a business owner, that they maybe don't kind of think or are distracted or not thinking about the future. You know, I think about Rachel as well, and she's so talented, wedding musician, here, there, everywhere. Everyone wants her, fully booked for years in advance.
Yeah.
And, you know, she built her business online herself.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could do a course specific for, you know,
Yeah.
musicians in Northern Ireland or musicians in the UK or Ireland, how to grow your online business.
How to get booked
build-
out 2
yeah.
years in advance.
Yeah.
2 years, 2026. She's taking bookings for.
And obviously she's busy, so she's like, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please, just create it.
I know. Well, she will. You know, like that's the thing. They all will at some point. I do think that anyone who's listening to this who has a thought of doing it will.
And think about how many people you could be helping, you know, by creating something like that. How many lives that could change in the future.
Yeah.
You know, for people who have been through the pain points that you went through and
Yeah.
come out the other end. That's what it's all about.
I know. The ripple effect.
Yeah.
That's what that's called, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just
think
reminds
so.
me of a chocolate bar.
I know. I'd love a ripple.
But anyway, I think the big thing is, guys, please start thinking about, you know, what it is that you could do.
Yeah.
Business owner or soon to be business owner. I think I read that the online educational market has grown like by like something like $174 billion in the last 10 years. Like it's just went up and up and up and
Yeah.
up. People want to be educated online.
I know.
So why not get a piece of that revenue?
I know. I actually love getting educated online and doing courses. And I can't believe it because I thought I hated school and education.
You just hated the curriculum and the boring kind of
Yeah, the boring curriculum, it just
photosynthesis
didn't
and stuff.
land at all.
Pythagoras theorem.
Geography.
No wonder.
I know, like geography was a waste of time.
I think I
in
came
hindsight,
last.
now that we've got Google Maps.
I think I came last in geography. And I actually read somewhere the other day, do you remember your teacher saying to you, you need to know your maths because you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time?
Oh my God, you have a calculator in your pocket.
Liars.
I've got a calculator now on my watch. Do you know what I mean? So it is everywhere.
We're not saying forget about school and just start online businesses, but, you know, maybe.
I kind of am. I say that to Anya's girls all the time. I'm like, they said, don't like going to school. I was like, it doesn't matter. Don't like, you have to go, but I mean, you're going to have your own online businesses.
Yeah.
You know, like in some area, like I will make sure that they will definitely have like an online income coming in.
Yeah.
Like from they're old enough, whenever they're ready, then it'll happen for them.
It's the way the world's moving.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, I think that's it. Are we done?
I think so, yeah. So basically, that's what is our main takeaways for today's show.
You throw this on me all the time, and then I'm like, I don't know. The takeaways are understand your bad habits, turn them into good habits. And one of those good habits could be an online product.
Yeah, don't feel too guilty about not giving up alcohol, though. Don't put yourself under too much pressure. The time will come. I think if you really, really, really want to stop, you know, because I did want to stop for years, and then it just came at a certain time, and I was like, okay, I'm done. And that was it. It was much easier when I wanted to than when somewhere deep down I didn't actually want to.
Yeah. You just ruined my outro.
Sorry.
You
What
just
were you
went
gonna
back
say?
into it. No, you just went back into it.
Oh, really? Is that what we were doing? So I was just like, well, that was it then. So that is the outro done and dusted. Just want to add that little bit on. That was like a PS.
Yeah. PS.
Yeah.
We could do PSs. Yeah.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.